I wanted to talk to you about controversy and cancel culture because
Mhm,
I don't think your content is necessarily very controversial, but I know like
mhm,
today's age, some
mhm,
people will probably get offended by some of the
mhm.
content you create. Do you ever think about that at all?
I mean, yeah, because it's kind of, especially with like comedy, it's obviously it's over talked about by like every stand-up comedian about like cancel culture. Like that's like the number one subject, and it's an important subject, but it's also like it's stale if everybody's talking and joking about it. But like for sure, I mean, the first video that my brother and I made that I told you about, I don't know if we would have made that today.
Mm,
We certainly would have made it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We would not have made it today, maybe just because now I'm more confident um, with like making things not that aren't offensive, or if this is offensive, it's offensive to the people that are looking to be offended. Like there's a kind of that line now. You kind of I've become more comfortable with there's no way anything I make won't be offensive to somebody
mm,
because 5% of the people who watch videos right now are watching it to tell you that it's offensive.
yeah.
And are they're scanning it like they're the internet police.
Hmm.
Um, because you kind of get a rush if you're like, this is wrong. Like when you comment like you should be ashamed,
Yeah.
apologize, something like that. Like it gives them some dopamine or serotonin to the fucking brain. And so there's nothing you can do about that. And there's also something too with like everybody, there's a real human urge to join a mob.
Yeah.
And my God, is that evident on the internet
Yes.
where all of a sudden, like, none of these people know each other. None of these people know the person that they're talking about. None of the people actually watch the video that they're upset with.
Hmm.
But you get why 300 years ago, people were pulling out their pitchforks and being like, let's go do this because
Yeah.
clearly it's a really good feeling to some extent. And so, yeah, as far as like controversy stuff, my fiance, who's in like all my videos,
Hmm.
and we make them all together, she writes half of them. Uh, she's younger than me and really grew up on the internet more than I did. And she's on like I never use TikTok. I never really use any social media platform like myself, just
Hmm.
because uh, it fucks with my head. And
Yeah.
also, the last thing I ever want to do is see a comedy sketch made by somebody else, because then I feel like I can't use that
Oh,
idea,
yeah.
and I don't want to accidentally rip somebody off, or I don't want to. I don't. If I rip somebody off, I want it to be completely accident because I never saw it.
Hmm.
So I don't even watch. I don't want to know what I can't make. Um, but she's really good at being like, we can't make that joke. Um, like we made a video recently called TikTok told me I have ADHD,
Yeah. I've
where
seen that. Yeah.
yeah, where it's like the whole thing is just everybody's watching TikTok videos, and then they're like, somebody makes a video being like, so I have ADHD and here's how I found out. And the symptoms are always like, I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or
Yeah.
some bullshit.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh my God, I have ADHD too. And but it's not even just ADHD, it's ADHD, it's OCD. The big one that I wanted to make like put in, and this was gonna be the punchline for the video, was autism, because all of a sudden everybody is like, I'm autistic. But Michaela was right in that she was like, you can't say that because that's where you're going to get people
Ah, interesting.
really upset.
Yeah.
And which was a bummer because I had a really good joke at the end where, because to me, it's really funny how, there's the ADHD, there's the OCD symptoms that people, on the internet they'll say they'll have, and then everybody thinks they have those symptoms.
Hmm.
For autism, it's offensive. People literally be like, I'm autistic because I'm random. Like they'll be like, I just like I'll eat breakfast food at night. And it's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't make you autistic. Like autism is real. A lot of people have autism. Just because you're searching for your identity
Hmm.
doesn't mean you should say you're autistic. Like that's actually offensive. So I want
Yeah.
to make fun of that but it's a really fine line that you have to really just fly right through. Otherwise, you're either a jerk or people get really, really upset. I'm also because I'm never really on the social media. I'm not really. I don't care when people are that upset with me. Um, but it's probably good not to end up on some blog
Mm.
because it's probably better to avoid being doxxed or swatted or something
Yeah,
than
yeah. That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as long as you haven't actually done anything wrong, I mean, all the hate comments is kind of a win-win. It's more engagement, more
Yep,
views,
that's
more
a very good
shares.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about someone like Andrew Schultz who just does not give a fuck, who says exactly like anything and everything goes?
So wait, is Andrew Schultz? I always get him and Andrew Santino confused. Is he the redhead or is he the? I think he has brown hair, right?
He has
Andrew
brown
Schultz.
hair. Yeah.
So I because I don't really watch too
Ah,
much
okay.
Instagram or TikTok or anything like that, just to avoid accidentally
Mm,
stealing from somebody. I don't know. I've seen him in stuff and I've seen some of his stand up and he's hilarious.
he's very
Uh,
funny.
but I mean, and the way what you're describing of just like not really giving a fuck, like every day I'm becoming more and more like that.
Mm,
Uh, I still have some sort of limits to what I'll do and what I'll say, but every day that limit is being stressed
mm.
further and further because it's like you said, it's like if I'm not meaning to offend anybody, if I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, that's usually very apparent to the viewer. So
Mm.
the person who's saying you hurt my feelings, or more likely you're hurting these other people's feelings that I'm not even a part of. I love when people do that.
Mm.
I love when people are like, I'm gonna speak for these people I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you fucking talking
Yeah.
about? Like, because always those people that you don't know think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Why are you offended
That's
for them?
true.
Uh, you just get more comfortable being like, if I'm gonna, I don't care about offending the people who are looking to be offended. There's not that's unavoidable.
Hmm.
If I am too concerned with that, I'm gonna lose my business because it's just a part of being in this business.
I think it's awesome that you are giving less of a fuck as you go along because I feel like for the most part, as people grow their social media platforms, it's the opposite because they start, oh my God, I built this thing. I'm so worried that
Mhm.
it's going to go away now.
Yeah, because I think usually that happens. I know exactly what you're talking about, where people will make content that'll be really edgy, really edgy, really edgy, really edgy. Then they'll get that first, this person's a monster, doxed, threatened, all that thing, and they really calm it down.
Mm.
And then the question is, do they ever get back up? Because
People
I
followed
know
for that
people,
itchy thing. So if they stop doing it, there doesn't make sense why
yeah,
they grow further.
it's exactly if you made it being controversial, you're not going to make it being
No,
non-controversial.
yeah.
You'll have to change your name and start anew because all the people following you are like, no, no, I like your raunchy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Stop with this like YouTube kids shit. But it's like it's a weird process kind of getting comfortable with it. That I I definitely have had moments where I mean I remember the first video we made where my brother was gay and I was his dad. I remember uh there were comments like but at the time like three comments that were like this is offensive and I
Mm.
remember feeling like my world was just
Mm.
rocked. It's over, my life is over. And one of my buddies was like, don't apologize, there's nothing to apologize for. And I'll have to remember that. I like keep that in my head all the time. So Forrest Ackerman,
Yeah.
thank you, he's the one who told me that.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen YouTubers that I feel like were canceled for absolutely nothing who say
Mhm.
sorry even though they don't feel like it. And that's
Never
when
say
the whole,
sorry.
yeah, exactly. That's when the everything runs loose and you can't take that back. And then you
Mhm.
have to say sorry every time you make a mistake, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've told people before too. Uh, the trick to not being canceled is to just not be canceled. Like
Yeah.
You decide if you're canceled,
Mm-hmm.
not the internet
Yeah.
mob. Like the internet mob might be chanting for you to apologize or to like fucking, they'll say like kill yourself, like just
Mm.
terrible shit. They're terrible people. Any mob is terrible, for the most part. Um, it's you who, if you apologize, if you stop making content, then you're canceled.
Yeah.
But if you don't apologize and you don't stop, it goes away, because once the hyenas realize, hey, this thing isn't like
Not.
backing up and
Yeah.
giving up, then they run away and try to find the next thing. The internet has, like, the mob has no real power. It just feels like that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
really scary. So if you never apologize, never stop, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm. The
Yeah.
craziest shit is when people try to pull up something from like 10 years ago as if you're the same person that you were 10 years ago.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's my favorite. And it's always motivated too. Like it's always like somewhat like politically motivated or anything like that. It
Yeah.
usually is like somebody's upset with some creator or some politician or some celebrity for something. So they're like, I'm gonna spend the next 48 hours just diving through everything they've ever done or ever said.
Yeah.
And so it always comes back and it's like, who gives a shit what I said 5 years ago, a year ago? We're different people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Just in general. Yeah.
Do you feel like the world is going to get more soft, or are we at a turning point where we're probably going back to where offensive comedy is a bit more acceptable?
I think we're definitely at a turning point. I can, just as somebody who makes stuff, I have a pretty good finger on the pulse of everything. And it does feel like people are. Do you ever watch South Park?
Yeah. Favorite show.
Okay, so you know South Park, there's an episode that actually I think was like, might have been 7 years ago. They made an episode. Oh, you know what? It was with, PC Principal.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first episode with him, there's like a shot of the farmers, and they're like, "Uh-oh, looks like things are getting all PC again."
Mm-hmm.
Like, how long did it last time? And I forget the amount of years they said, but I bet you, if I forget if they said it last time, it lasted about 7 years. I bet you it's been that long, because it does feel like people are kind of over it. Like
Yeah.
you get over it when people get over it individually when they finally see something, when it's gone far enough that they see something is like, wait, this isn't, I actually don't think this is offensive. People think this is offensive. Okay, maybe the things that they think are offensive aren't actually offensive. And it just, the whole tower just topples and we start back at the beginning. And that's, yeah, I think we're kind of at that point. I think within the next couple months, we'll
Next couple of months?
I feel like we're at that turning point right
Okay.
now. Everything I see on the internet, people are a lot more like, shut the fuck up, who cares? Which is great.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Fun feeling sad. Why are you making yourself feel sad about things?
I remember it's like probably 7 or 8 years old, I watched a lot of very offensive Danish comedians, and I remember like as I grew up, and this was like at a very young age, I remember just noticing how comedy and the world changed and how people were so easily offended, and it really shocked me. And I remember this so clearly. I was so young, but I just noticed that, and it was so strange.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they say like any comedy movie in the 2000s that you watch, there's like 5 jokes in there where now, even if you're not like offended by them, now you notice it. You're like, wait a minute, they said that? I mean, I totally agree. It's like it does feel like the world has gotten softer, 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 but I think it's a cycle. Like it feels like that, and then it snaps back, and then at that point, everybody's like, the world's getting softer, 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 softer. It's just a cycle that I think is probably just human nature and the way our culture works.